Before the sun rises, someone kicks your boot. You wake on cold ground beneath a leather tent that smells of damp wool, smoke, sweat, and old iron. For a moment, you do not know where you are. Then you hear it again. Men moving in the dark, coughing, muttering, tightening straps, lifting shields. You are a Roman soldier. Not the kind from statues, polished and glorious. Not the heroic figure carved into marble. You are a tired, half-awake man in a military camp somewhere far from home, and the day in front of you will ask more from your body than most modern people could endure. The first thing you notice is the cold. The second is the weight. Even before sunrise, your world is made of weight. Your shield, your armor, your weapons, your pack. Everything a Roman army values in a man can be measured in what he can carry, how far he can march, and whether he breaks under pressure. There is no quiet morning. There is no time to stretch, reflect, or gather yourself. Around you, men move with routine born from repetition, not comfort. Fires burn low. An officer shouts. Somewhere outside the tent lines, mules stamp and snort in the half-dark. You force yourself up. Your body is already sore because a Roman soldier does not belong to yesterday alone. Yesterday's march is still inside your legs. Yesterday's drills still live in your shoulders. Yesterday's blisters have not healed. And yet today begins again. Your breakfast is not a feast. Forget the fantasy of imperial grandeur. There is no grand banquet waiting for the common soldier. You eat what is practical: grain, bread, perhaps porridge, perhaps some salted meat if supplies are good, and water or weak wine mixed to make it safer. It is enough to keep you moving. That is all. The Roman army is not built on comfort. It is built on discipline, repetition, and the brutal logic of logistics. Men do not conquer half the known world because they feel inspired. They do it because they wake when ordered, march when ordered, build when ordered, fight when ordered, and endure what would stop other armies cold. Soon the camp begins to stir in full. Light leaks over the horizon. Now you can see the scale of it. Rows of tents, lines of equipment, stacks of supplies, men from different provinces, officers moving like sharp blades through the morning. The camp is not chaos. It is a machine. That machine depends on obedience. A Roman legionary is not simply a fighter. He is also a laborer, engineer, builder, digger, carrier, road maker, and wall raiser. If you imagine that most of your day will be spent in glorious combat, you would be disappointed very quickly. Most of war is preparation. Most of military life is labor. Before you march, your equipment must be checked. Your armor sits against your body like a promise and a threat. Mail shirt, helmet, belt, sandals, shield, javelins, sword. None of it is light. None of it can be forgotten. Roman military discipline is famous for a reason. Mistakes cost lives, and negligence is punished. Punished hard. That is another truth no heroic painting likes to show. The Roman army is disciplined because fear is built into it. Fear of the enemy matters. Fear of your officers also matters. A soldier who fails his duty may lose rations, be beaten, or face much worse. The army knows that terror can be turned inward as well as outward. Then comes the march. This is where romantic ideas about ancient warfare begin to die. A Roman soldier marches constantly, not a symbolic stroll beneath banners, but mile after mile under load, under heat or cold, on roads, dirt tracks, mud, hills, and broken ground. Your pack drags on your shoulders. Sweat soaks your tunic. Leather rubs raw at the skin. Dust sticks to your mouth. The men around you keep moving because stopping is not an option. The Roman army wins not only with swords, but with movement. It goes farther, faster, and more reliably than many of its enemies. And that ability rests on the bodies of ordinary men forced into extraordinary endurance. If the march is short, you are lucky. If it is long, the day becomes a lesson in pain. Your feet ache, your lower back burns, your neck stiffens. The shield that seemed manageable at dawn now feels like a slab of stone. You learn quickly that courage is not always a charge into battle. Sometimes courage is simply not collapsing in front of the man behind you. Eventually, the order comes to halt. In another army, perhaps the men would rest. In the Roman army, rest often means work. If the legion is making camp, then the camp must be built. This is one of the secrets of Roman military power. The camp is not improvised laziness. It is ordered defense, carved into the landscape by exhausted men who have already marched all day. You dig ditches, you raise embankments, you drive stakes, you haul earth, you clear ground. Your arms, already fatigued, must work again. Your hands blister. Dirt clings beneath your nails. Sweat stings your eyes. The day is not done merely because the sun has crossed the sky. And all of this is before battle. If battle is coming, the emotional weight changes. The camp feels different. Men speak differently. Some joke too much. Some go quiet. Some check their gear over and over again, as if one more adjustment might keep death away. This is the part many people misunderstand about soldiers in any age. They are not fearless. They are not made of bronze. They are men with beating hearts and dry mouths and thoughts they would rather not say aloud. You can be trained, armed, disciplined, and still be terrified. Especially if this is your first day close to combat. You hear things before you see them. Distant horns, the movement of massed bodies, the metallic rattle of armor, a horse somewhere beyond the line, officers carrying information quickly but not always calmly. Then comes that silent moment when the army seems to hold its breath. A Roman formation is powerful because it asks each man to be a part, not a hero. Your shield belongs to you, but it also belongs to the line. Your fear belongs to you, but if you break, the whole unit pays for it. That is the true burden. Not just staying alive, but staying in place while every instinct tells you to run. Your helmet narrows your world. Your shield blocks part of your vision. Your grip tightens around the wood and leather until your hands ache. You can smell metal, sweat, churned earth. Your heartbeat is loud enough to feel like a second sound inside your skull. Then battle begins. Not as cleanly as cinema likes to show it. Not as one neat collision of good order and dramatic music. It begins in confusion, noise, impact, and survival. Javelins arc. Men shout. Shields slam together. Someone near you falls. Someone else screams. Dust rises so thick it blurs edges and distance. You do not experience battle as a master view from above. You experience it as fragments, a face, a flash of iron, the shark running up your arm when your shield is struck, the instinct to duck, the effort to remember what you were taught while your body begs to panic. Roman training matters here. Drill becomes memory. Formation becomes protection. Discipline becomes the thin wall between order and massacre. If you survive the first burst of chaos, you discover another hard truth. Battle is exhausting. Every movement is heavy. Every second stretches. Fear burns energy fast. You are not fighting like a hero in a story. You are enduring, reacting, pushing, bracing, gasping, holding. And through it all, the army keeps demanding the same thing from you. Stay where you belong. That may be the deepest difference between fantasy and reality. The Roman army was not a machine because its men were superhuman. It was a machine because it took ordinary, frightened people and locked them into systems of discipline so powerful that they could keep functioning even inside terror. By the time the fighting ends, if it ends in your favor, you are not triumphant in the clean, cinematic sense. You are shaken. Your body trembles from exhaustion. Your throat is dry. Your arms feel heavier than iron. You look around and realize that some of the men who stood near you in the morning are gone now. There is no instant return to comfort. Wounded men need attention. Equipment must be gathered. Orders continue. If the army moves, you move. If it camps, you build. Even after fear, labor returns. Even after battle, routine returns. That is what makes one day, as a Roman soldier, so brutal. It is not only the possibility of death, though that is always there. It is the accumulation of burdens, the weight on the shoulders, the miles underfoot, the strictness of discipline, the hardness of camp life, the constant labor, the uncertainty, the fear, the exhaustion, and the knowledge that tomorrow may be the same. So would you survive one day as a Roman soldier? Most people imagine that the hardest part would be the battle, but the battle is only one piece. The real answer is that you would have to survive the cold morning, the bad sleep, the simple food, the heavy gear, the march, the digging, the obedience, the fear of punishment, the fear of battle, the battle itself, and the labor that comes after it. In other words, you would have to survive the system. That system helped Rome dominate the ancient world, but it did so by extracting an extraordinary price from the bodies and minds of ordinary men. When we look back at Rome, it is easy to see empire, banners, victories, and stone monuments. What we do not always see is the tired soldier waking in darkness, lifting his shield with numb hands and stepping once more into a day he did not choose. That man is much closer to the truth. And that truth is simple. Rome was powerful not because war was glorious, but because so many men endured what glory usually hides.